That is right. And our next game for you guys is going to be Leenock. Everybody knows a bit of Leenock. He's going up against the STC in a ZerG versus Terran here in the winners round 5.
Yeah, the winner of this will face Mr. Excellent himself, Bolt, who we just saw take that win against Creator. Here in his booth he is already. He's young. He was predicted by Artosis and Tasteless to be absolutely amazing. They were right. It's FXO Leenock.
That is right. The 2-time MLG champion is here at IPL, ready to win this tournament. He is playing so good so far here, having hardly even looked like losing in this tournament.
Yeah, this guy is definitely one of the favorites to win this tournament. He's just so good, really. STC, on the other hand, he's kind of that guy who's always good, but you didn't expect him necessarily to take top 3 at an event. Super nice guy, always smiling. There we go. I don't think he heard me. He's really always smiling. Very nice guy, and he's also in Team Quantic, a North American team. I think he's still staying in Korea, however.
Yes, that's right. I mean, he's actually a semi-finalist of IPL 3. He didn't participate in IPL 4, but he is back at IPL 5. And let me tell you, he is playing well at this tournament, just like Leenock is. So far, the STC's gone 2-0 versus Vibe, 2-0 versus Sniper, who's here for Code S. And then he also managed to beat Bomber 2-1. And then on top of that, Crank 2-0. The STC is having a very good tournament.
Yeah, definitely. And for him, it's just so important to try and keep that up. Will he keep that momentum alive here going against Leenock? This is his biggest challenge yet. And he's kind of shocked by it, really. Overwhelmed as he is either warming up his hands or hiding his face. It's going to be a very important match. It's going to start off on Entombed Valley. We just saw Symbol play against, who was it again? Symbol against, well, who did he play? Alive, yes, thank you. Someone from the audience. Symbol against Alive. We saw heavy Zergling Ultralist play, winning without Adrenal Glance.
Well, I think Leenock's going to get that upgrade, let me tell you that. Leenock's a fantastic player, a multiple-time champion. They are going head-to-head right now in a best-of-3. The winner moves on to the semi-final of the winners bracket, where they'll face up against Pult. It is happening right now for you.
Welcome to IPL 5, Entombed Valley.
All right, here we are on Entombed Valley between these two players up here in the top right. Everybody's little favorite ZerG. It is FXO Leenock.
FXO Leenock.
And going up against him, well, actually there we see Leenock. Of course, looking focused. How could it be different? Going up against him, spawning cross-map position on the bottom left of Entombed Valley. The blue Protoss from Team Quantic. It is...
Quantic, the STC.
All right, well, let's see how this is going to shape out. The first map of this best-of-3 is going to be Entombed Valley. It is one of the more economy-focused maps of the map pool here. It is, you know, rather large. It is a lot easier to defend any kind of 2-3 base assaults with the use of the ramps. Of course, game directing here by Heaven Dom of GOM TV, the perfect observer, some may say.
Yeah, I love that thing he does at the start where he zooms in and he spins like crazy and he always hits exactly the camera location that he needs to.
What are your predictions for this one then, before we get really rolling?
I think it would be amazing if STC won. And so do a lot of the fans think the same thing. 57% skewed in the favor of Leenock. Of course, this is... there we go, 58.
It is rising.
Of course, people can vote for this on IGN.com. If your prediction is correct, you will gain points. If you predicted the underdog to win, you will, and you were right, you will gain even more points for being clairvoyant. And the person with the most points at the end of it all will win an Origin PC, a sponsored PC by one of the sponsors of IPL 5, and it's the same PC as all these pro gamers are playing on.
One of many sponsors at this tournament. Of course, there's Leenock's results. I mean, he's a Code S runner-up. He's won MLG twice now, and definitely looking for another victory in the United States of America here. We have Leenock actually getting gas relatively early. Not a direct sign of aggression, but it definitely could be.
Yeah, when we saw this from Symbol before against Alive, it meant he got quick speed links, and then he transitioned to going for that Roach Baneling attack, which didn't work out at all. Alive defended it beautifully, but Alive wasn't as solid in the second and the third stages of that game, and somehow Symbol was able to come back from that early deficit. We'll be able to see whether Leenock goes by the same methodology. Does speed link first opening mean that he's going to go for Roach Baneling? Certainly it does not, but let's see if he wants to do that.
Yeah, he's not mining too much gas. I think he took a couple out there. He's actually in there. No, he actually is in with all three at the moment, so we'll see if he is going to do anything. Just because he has roughly 120 gas per minute income. On the other hand, though, the STC playing quite normal, to be honest. Just one Barracks Command Center, double gas, getting up towards that factory. He does have a couple of Marines out there, as we now are going to see the reactor ready for that factory switch over. But very shortly, we're going to start to see some decisions made by Leenock.
Of course, for these players, there's no time like the present, really. They can't be thinking about the future or the past. It's all about this match. But when we think a little bit about what this match means, the winner of this match will, as Apollo said, move on to the winner brackets semifinals, which means a guaranteed top 6 position in this tournament and a guaranteed $4,000 of prize money already, with a chance to improve, of course.
That's a lot of money, but there's the decision from Leenock, and it's going to be a really fast layer. And when you get a layer this fast, there's just two options. It's either going to be A, layer for the Spire, or layer for the Infestation Pit. There are a couple of other ones, but then very less likely to actually happen. And with all the gases being taken here, definitely think we're going to have some Mutalist enter the field very, very shortly.
Yeah, I think those two possibilities are by far the most likely, way more likely than what I was thinking, which is a very quick 50 speed link Nidus network attack, which surprisingly enough doesn't work out that often at all, especially when I do it.
But so, look at that, double factory with a potential of a tech lab coming down on it. We're going to have some blue flames here, Grubby.
Yeah, he's switching out that barracks with the factory and will most likely, as you said, start that pre-infernal igniter. Infernal pre-igniter, actually. So he'll be making 3 Hellions at a time, and Blue Flame will be finishing momentarily after 100 seconds or so. So for now, of course, Leenock won't be able to know whether it's just 2 Hellions, 4 Hellions, just doing the same thing as what Alive was doing, or whether it's a dedicated Hellion attack.
And this could be very dangerous as we see the Infestation Pit. So the two options that were available, Leenock's decided to go for Fast Infestors, but what does he have really to defend against Hellion? Sure, he has a couple of links coming out. He does not have a Spine. He only has 1 Protection, Queen, Spread, and Creep, and only 8 links out currently with 4 more on the way. I think we're going to see Leenock in a lot of trouble very shortly.
Yeah, I think you're right, Apollo. That's a nice bunker there, stopping that drone from building that hatch, which means that the Hellions can kill it. Very important move there. And for now, a lot of Zerglings have died already, which is forcing more Zergling production out of Leenock. And the Hellions are still alive, so nice job there by STC, who is saving up the rest of his Hellions down in his base.
Yeah, but he can't wait too long, though.
It's about as perfect as possible, isn't it? Yeah, he can't wait too long. If he moves out now, it would be good. If he moves out 20 seconds later, maybe bad.
And he is about to move out, though. These 2 Hellions getting maximum amounts of damage here, bringing down a lot of links. And now the Blue Flame has been revealed. And now Leenock has to start to worry because these Hellions are making their way across the map. And they will enter the drone line. The Spine Crawler's coming down way too late. The Queens are not in position either. Uh-oh.
And line them up. As these Hellions are starting to fry some drones. Nice moving away the drones there. The Zerglings are trying to cut them off. There's 4 Hellions here. There's 2 more Hellions coming in through the middle. And now he's frying those Zerglings. How many drones have gone down already? 17 workers have been killed already.
That is a lot. 17 and 2 Hellions just walk into the main base. They are being chased down by a handful of links with a Queen in the main base as well. It looks like Leenock should be able to survive a couple more hits maybe without taking too much damage. A couple of drones do fall down on the ramp. The Infestors are finally out. But it's too late now to defend as the drone count has dropped to 33.
Wow.
22 drones were killed by the STC. A magnificent start for him here in this first game of a best of 3.
Yeah, that's an excellent strategy choice, is it not, Apollo, on this map where there's such a big ramp?
I completely agree, and the tendency for a lot of Zerg players is to skip the Roach Warrior nowadays, so this build is always thrown in there in a best of whatever series, and it has amazing results, as we can see.
Yeah, wasn't it Major against Hyun who kept using Hellions in the TSL4? And Hyun kept skipping that Roach War and then was working so well for Major. You're very happy to see no Roaches when you're going that many Hellions.
And now, as mentioned, the time of Hellions has been and gone, and unfortunately these ones are going to get thrown away, as the Infestors do spend 3 Fungals to destroy them all, but that's a worthy trade to protect his economy. But the SCC, as we can see, is going over to take his new base. He is going to be playing mech in this game as well.
Very nice, adding 3 factories, adding a Raven, going double armory upgrades. But in the meantime, you gotta hand it to Leenock, man. He's already back to 61 drones. So he recuperated from that drone loss quite nicely indeed. But STC, he's no slouch himself. He's already making a 4th command center. So playing very, very heavy economy there. And that's so good to back up that mech play.
Yeah, oh, it really is. But as we see, there's a turret and a Raven. These Infestors, oh no, Leenock! Is he going to lose him? He has to turn around immediately here. He's going to launch Infested Terrans, actually. And, well, I guess that's a good decision considering there's nothing there. And he's going to do quite a bit of damage on that front door without losing the Infestors.
Yeah, and these Hellions are going to try kill drones, but they're nicely burrowed. However, STC is using collateral damage, attacking that Queen, and the drones are going to die. Very nice. They're taking 3 hidden drones down without having to use a scan.
And these Infestors continue to march forward here. These Infested Terrans just unanswered for at the moment. The SCC right in the middle of trying to get production, trying to get units up, has had to deal with this. And, well, the turret had fallen. And these Infestors have made their way in. And Leenock's fighting back in this game as we see the Hive on its way, the Spire as well.
Yeah, STC was trying to deal with those Infested Terrans as you should deal with the Playground Bully. Just ignore it and they will go away.
That's right, and eventually they did, but here are some guys that won't go away. A lot of Lings spreading across the map, only 4 Hellions out. They should be enough to do damage eventually. And oh, that Infestor gets picked off immediately. Here come the Lings, and 2 Hellions are going to get surrounded immediately, and they will fall.
Yeah, now Infested Terrans are being thrown down in the natural of STC. He's also losing SCVs and Mules there in that 3rd base. Leenock doing what he can to gain economic parity once again. Ooh.
And that Infestor, well, both of them fall down as Leenock is about to pick off the Raven, and it does fall down. And despite Leenock taking so much damage early on, losing over 20 drones, he's doing extraordinarily well in this game, fighting back against the STC, who at this point, usually, you'd feel that he'd be unbreakable.
Yeah. This is a completely unprecedented use of Infestors that I've ever seen. Of course, he's lost a lot of them, but we look at the units lost tab. It's actually STC who lost more here. 30 workers were killed by STC earlier on, but Leenock killed back 24. And he really reset the unit count of STC there, killing a Raven, killing a whole bunch of tanks, and just really delaying STC.
And all Leenock's been really relying on in this game is simply energy from the Infestors. He's hardly had over a certain amount of aggressive units. He's been defending with the Infestors, he's been aggressive with them, and now he's all of a sudden got the Greater Spire on the way. The one thing that's been missing throughout this game clearly is upgrades, simply because he hasn't had the resources. Yeah. He's only had 1 Evolution Chamber down for the majority of the game, now having 2. And the Viking now going to go and scout. We'll eventually see the Hive here and realize what he's up against. And to be honest, we're going to have to see some Thor production and definitely some air production too, as the Viking now finally spots that Greater Spire. Yeah,
that's a very important read there, seeing that Greater Spire. It's already coming after STC was building 2 additional factories, which will put him at a grand total of 7 factories. So in this particular situation, the starport is only just starting a reactor, and he's building the reactor with the starport. So that means, oh, nice fungal there.
Yeah, really good clutch defense from Leenock.
I mean, Vikings are still quite far away.
Yeah, that's true. Then the Greater Spire is done, so Broodlords can start to enter the field very shortly. Nice supply depot wall off to prevent these Lings from doing anything. They will scratch at the wall, but we shouldn't see too much damage done there.
And STC feels like he needs to go for an attack now. His army consists of 8 Hellions and 10 tanks. Tors are being created, but Tors aren't really that good against Broodlords. So what really STC would love to do is to kill the hatchery at the very least.
Yeah, I completely agree. If he kills the hatchery and gets out, that is a job well done from the STC. And he doesn't want to extend further than this because the Broodlords are out, they are there, they're flying across. And is he going to bring this hatchery down? That's his goal here. And he will get it? No, 61 hit points.
Oh no, he unseats too soon.
Oh, and these tanks at the back out of distance, and with the Queens transfusing, the single goal of the STC with this assault has been warded away by Leenock. who keeps his hatchery alive and very easily can take a 5th base to the top left now as well. And that was rather unfortunate. There was a lot of resources.
Rather unfortunate, yes, indeed. And also, note how SCC was scanning that hatchery. There was no apparent gain for that whatsoever. Rather than just to kind of sit there, gape at the hatchery and say, no, so close. Because I don't think that scan had any real function rather than just to see what really happened there.
And now the Broodlords are coming out right as the SCC is trying to build an air force ready to deal with it. As we see the Vikings coming out 2 by 2, but there's only 5 Vikings against 7 Broodals and 6 Infestors. But these 2 Hellions have sneaked their way in to try to do a bit of damage to what he wanted to kill off earlier. But the Infestors.
Wow. 3 Infestors went down, 5 Infestors went down, and now he doesn't have the Infestors to take down the Vikings, which means he has to go all the way home. The Vikings will try to catch up. There's only 1 Infestor with fungal growth left. STC is being offered a lifeline here, and he takes it greedily. Hellions are going down. That is neither here nor there. Really what matters here is this big fight, and STC is looking to push out across the map.
Oh, if he can try to get the... Oh no, the Vikings! Oh dear God, they survived just about. The Corruptors try to chase them down to see if they can pick all of them off, and Corruptors are so beefy, they bring down 2 of the 5. And the Broodlords managed to escape there. Leenock escaping, on death.
Yeah, that was very close, and now smart remax there with Roaches because of the amount of Thors that are being seen there by Leenock. Very nice save there, that 1 fungal growth to run away, shooting some with the Broodlords, and then flying away.
And these Hellions looking for a way in. Again, they get denied here. What are the upgrades on the Thors and tanks, by the way? I mean, especially now that we have +2 carapace and +3 missiles on the way for the Roaches.
Just getting that, I thought initially mostly for infested Terrans, but now an extra nice utility there for the Roaches. We've got 2-1 currently for Roaches, going for 3-2 very, very soon already. It's about to finish. And we've got 2-2 here for SCC, and has not started yet his 3-3. Really, he probably feels like he needs that 4th before he can afford to start that. And he was running on the clock.
Yeah, and he definitely needs his upgrades and definitely needs to start tank production again. And it's a very awkward stage for the SDC as he manages to get these Hellions through, but they are being chased down by Lings on creep. And oh, a perfect surround there. Look at that by Leenock. Denied again. And he even escapes with the majority of his Lings to prevent the damage that could have gone down. But as mentioned, going back to tank production is such an awkward phase right now, because you're like, well, yes, I need tanks for the Roaches, but there's still Broodlords in the sky.
Yeah. And it's not a small number either. It's 7 Broodlords, and he has only 8 Vikings. And there's also, well, there's only 1 Infestor, to be fair. No Corruptors. He's making Corruptors, but only 1 Infestor. So probably SCC can win the aerial battle, but it's the ground battle that he really needs to be concerned about. So at this particular time, I feel like SCC can't die yet, which is good for him, because he's really doing some epic power play here, adding 2 additional command centers, and he did start that 3rd attack upgrade.
All right, well, here the assault is coming down from Leenock. The SCC needs to hold this ground. He lifts up 1 command center to have a better spread of his army. Oh no, the Vikings get bungled with just the single Infestor that was in that army, and the Thors now getting in. Tanks are fighting unsieged, but with the Planetary Fortress aid, it seems to be that he's holding his ground rather well.
And it's a very ambitious attack here by Leenock. It seems to be wrong by all intents and purposes, but he is doing the damage. The Planetary Fortress is halfway. Are there enough SCVs to repair it? They are repairing a Thor. The Planetary Fortress might go down. Thors are falling as well. Corruptors are coming in now, and it looks like Leenock might have enough here to bolster this attack.
Oh, he doesn't really want to lose that Planetary Fortress. Only a handful of SCVs are actually repairing it. Look at it, it's just kind of hovering around 70 hit points, and he is going to be able to repair it and keep it alive. Broodlords being morphed on top of the army. There's really no anti-air with the last Thor falling. Is Leenock going to win the battle, win the war here?
And it looks like not quite yet. It's incredibly close. The Broodlords are about to finish, and these tanks will be in a very big problem. But the Vikings are here shooting Broodlords in, morph in a lot more Broodlords, and this might be his chance to take down that Planetary Fortress. STC needs more Vikings stacked.
Yeah, and with the Planetary Fortress going down, there falls his economy, if that's going to happen. More Vikings are coming out, 6 on the field at the moment. The Broodlords are just morphed there, slowly but surely killing tanks. And as we see, Lings and Roaches are being the follow-up here units for reinforcements from Leenock. But eventually, these Broodlords will die, but how much damage before they do?
More Corruptors come in, and it looks like what looked like to be an attack that was about to be stopped is a never-ending attack that might careen into a victory for Leenock, who is on 7 bases. GG!
GG, and Leenoktopus takes map number 1 here of the 3, potential 3. And well, He looked a bit shaky early on. The blue flame did catch him off guard, losing up to 20 more drones, but he was able to stabilize really well in the mid stages and put the pressure on that guy, who eventually crumbled.
Frustrating loss there for SCC. Definitely felt like he made some mistakes probably, which he shouldn't have. Killing that hatchery might have really made a difference. But man, I didn't know you can do that. What Leenock did. 5 queens, 1 infester, 1 corruptor, and just a bunch of broodlords against 8 or 9 Vikings or so. Very impressive win there by Leenock, doing what might be very hard to attain for others. For him, it's easy.
That is right, man. And well, Leenock continues his streak here. And as mentioned, 1 win away from achieving top 6 at this tournament already on day 2 of a 4-day tournament. He must be feeling amazing at this point, but it's not quite over yet, as the SCC is such a good player, can easily turn this around if given the opportunity.